Hi there, my name's Young. I'm a real estate agent, and today I'm going to talk about first-time home buyer incentives. The first-time home buyers are very important to economy, and rightfully so, very important for real estate. And that is why the government is pushing for first-time home buyers, because in order for homes, like houses to sell, you need somebody to buy. And rightfully so, the first-time home buyers are the people who are buying condos or small townhouses or single detached somewhere far away. And those are the people, and you need that demand from first-time home buyers in order for those people who have that condo or small townhouses to move up to buy something like semis or detached now after they sell the property. And because of that, the government understands that first-time home buyers are crucial to this cycle. They're implementing ways for first-time home buyers to be able to afford a home, and it's easier for them to jump into the market. So let's begin. This slide says why this matters in 2026. So as I was mentioning, first-time home buyers are very important for housing economy. Government also understands that you need the first-time home buyers for this cycle to continue to move. But also recently, for some time, home prices has been going up significantly, and it has been becoming harder and harder for these young Canadians to buy home. They implemented, first-time home savings account a couple of years ago, and they implemented home buyer savings account, a home buyer's plan, basically withdrawing RRSP money to buy home. And those were both great. Now we have HST rebate for 1 year from April 1st of 2026 to March 31st of 2027 to help first-time home buyers and other buyers to afford a home tax-free. So there's these incentives that came in. Let's talk about it going up front. Now let's forward. So several federal and provincial policy shifts introduced recently have redefined entry-level affordability. By strategically stacking incentives, eligible buyers can substantially reduce upfront closing costs, income taxes, and down payment limit. Let's move forward. So who qualifies as a first-time home buyer? In order for you to qualify as a first-time home buyer, you need to meet following baseline conditions. First, you need to be 18 years or older, and you need to be Canadian citizen or permanent resident. And in order for you to use these perks, you need to buy your property as primary residence, not for investment. So that's very important for you to understand. With that in mind, in case if you have a spouse that has a home already and it's not eligible for a first-time home buyer, it doesn't mean that you can't get a first-time home buyer perks. You still get it. But a couple things that you have to understand is now you do have to pay. So any perks that you have, like land transfer tax, those are reduced by 50%. You're supposed to get $4,000 and $4,475 for Toronto municipal tax, land transfer tax. But now those are all reduced by half. Those are the little perks that you need to understand. And of course, when you're buying as a first-time home buyer, you always need to tell your lawyer that you're a first-time home buyer. Without telling them that you're a first-time home buyer, the lawyer may not apply, land transfer tax incentives. Moving forward, one of the things that they introduced a couple of years ago is first-time home savings account. This is very strong, and I think this is one of the best tool you have. So the limit for one person is $40,000. Once you open this account, you have limit of $8,000. And after each year that it passes, it gains another $8,000. And so you have to have this account for up to 5 years in order for you to fully utilize it. Every year when you put $8,000, that's tax deductible, like RRSP. So this is a great tool for you to pay less tax in a way. But here's a catch. You can only use this money when you're buying a home. This is not a savings account so you can use for something else. No, this is only for buying home. So please remember that. And you have to use this when you're buying your first home, and you can't use it any other way. So moving along, now we have home buyer's plan. So this is basically withdrawing money from your RRSP. Again, RRSP is also tax deductible, but you do pay taxes when you are withdrawing at the end of the day, right? So what this does is basically it allows you to withdraw up to $60,000 from your RRSP to buy your home as a first-time home buyer, which is great because everybody tries to pay less taxes as much as possible. So when you have enough income, you put your RRSP limit as much as possible. And if you're a first-time home buyer, or you try to max your RRSP as much as possible. And for you to use this as your down payment to pay for your down payment, it's a great tool. I think it's very helpful. Each adult can get $60,000, and it goes, if both couples are combined together, that's $120,000. So it's a big chunk of down payment support. But here's a little catch. You do have to repay this in 15 years. So this is what it says. You must pay back the borrowed funds into your RRSP over a 15-year period. So it's not a free money. You do have to put it back eventually. So there's that. So with the first-time home buyer's savings account and home buyer's plan, now 2 adults who are first-time home buyers can withdraw $40,000 in first-time home savings account, each of them, and now also withdraw $60,000 from home buyer's plan. So altogether, $200,000 in down payment. This is a big number. This is a lot of money. This is, registered tax shelter capital to buy your first home. And this $200,000 is a lot of money. And you can use this to avoid high ratio mortgage insurance completely. So you don't have to pay for mortgage insurance. And $200,000 also means that you pay less in interest and mortgage payments. It's great. I believe a lot of people has been using these first-time home buyer savings account and home buyer's plan. And if you have not yet made your first-time home buyer's account, please do so, because you want to do it as fast as possible so you can use it when you can maximize your 40K as much as possible. So moving along. So this year, it was recent that, new home HST rebate has received royal assent. So now from April 1st of 2026 to March 31st of 2027, you can receive up to $130,000 in full HST relief for qualifying purchases up to $1 million and phased rebate up to $1.5 million. So it's a great thing. I think it's a wonderful product, but here's a catch. You can only use this for pre-construction homes that are being built or substantially renovated home. It's one or the other. You can't use this on resales. That's something you have to understand. So for example, what I'm seeing is if you're buying home in Markham, Aurora, Newmarket, Oakville, Brampton, or South Caledon, or like any city within GTA, that has land to develop. Developers are launching projects so that they can sell these pre-construction homes. And why they can do it is because those pre-construction homes are now as cheap as resales. And that's a significant difference. And if you have a chance to, for example, if you're buying a car and you have a chance to buy cars, let's say either brand new Subaru or a Subaru that's about 2 years old and ran 30,000 kilometers, what would you buy? If I was the buyer, I would buy a brand new Subaru if it's same, very similar. Of course, anybody can be different, but that's my point of view. And I think a lot of buyers will feel the same way. And that's why for those areas, a lot more people are buying. People who are thinking of buying resales or considering pre-construction homes just because the numbers make sense and it's a brand new home. You don't have to do anything. It's clean. It's your new home. Whereas resales are used by other people and you need to repaint, clean, or substantially change carpet, etc. You never know what's going on in resales anyway, right? But if you're buying downtown, let's say Danforth area or King Street West, you have no pre-constructions. All you have is these homes that have been there for a long time, and those are the options you have. So you can't buy those. So you're still buying resales. And so there's that difference. So moving forward, now land transfer tax. So this, again, you do have to tell your lawyer that you're a first-time home buyer to get this rebate. If you don't tell your lawyer and they don't know, you have to pay full land transfer tax. So let's read what it says here. So for when purchasing a property in Toronto, many buyers face dual land transfer taxes. Toronto has Toronto municipal taxes. So first-time home buyers receive significant rebates, which lawyers can apply directly on closing. So Ontario provincial rebate, you can receive up to $4,000 back to your provincial land transfer tax, and Toronto municipal rebate, receive up to $4,475 back on your municipal taxes. So together, if you're first home buyer, you get rebate of $8,475 instantly. So here's the thing. If you are first time home buyer, but your spouse is not, then you get half of that. And if you are a first time home buyer and you've been living with your spouse who has or common law that has home, then you unfortunately don't qualify. So just letting you know. And of course, I have a land transfer tax purchase example. I think I'm just going to skip that altogether because you can't see it. Well, I'll tell you. So this is a detailed land transfer tax breakdown for $705,000 Toronto purchase. So land transfer tax, Ontario land transfer tax is $11,475. And Toronto municipal tax, land transfer tax is $10,725. So total $22,200. After first time buyer rebate, it's going to be $7,475 for Ontario land transfer tax. And Toronto municipal land transfer tax is $6,250. So after first time home buyer rebate, your land transfer tax becomes $13,725. Total saving of $8,475. It's a big number, almost 40%. Makes a big difference, right? While we're here, let's talk about down payment rules. So if you're buying a property under $500,000, you are required to pay minimum 5% down. You can put more, but that's the minimum. If you're buying a home that's between $500,000 to $1.5 million. Let's continue. So you do require 5% on your first $500,000. That you need to put at least $25,000. Anything over $500,000 up to $1.5 million, you have to pay 10% on the remaining balance. So let's say you're buying $750,000. You have to pay $25,000 on your 5% and 10% on the remaining $250,000. So that's $25,000. So altogether, you have to put $50,000 down payment minimum. And of course, anything over $1.5 million, you have to pay a minimum of 20% down. CMHC or first-time homebuyer insurance does not apply. So again, going back to that, there is insurance for mortgages and you can pay for it. It's a premium, but if you pay for it, you also get reduced interest rate. So it depends on how you look at it. I find that it gets embedded in your mortgage anyway. So I don't think for me it's worth it, but maybe some people find it worth it and some people do pay for it. So it depends on the situation. Along with all these, we have implemented 30-year amortization as well for first-time homebuyers. It used to be not. So extending 30-year timeline benefits in a way that, first, it lowers your mandatory monthly payments by a bit, which helps for you to qualify. And second, but there's also, the trade-off. If you have longer amortization, then you pay more interest over time. So it's a balance of whether you want to do 25-year or 30-year. It's a balance, and you need to understand why you want to take 25 or why you want to take 30 and what are the reasons, and you want to break it down. And for me, I was never, when I used to rent, I never really saved money. And I find that having a mortgage, you're paying for when you pay for your mortgage, you're paying principal and interest. And paying principal is basically saving money, putting into your bank account. Well, to your mortgage, you're paying for your mortgage. So I'm not a good saver, I think. So having this mortgage helps me save money over the time. Yeah, it's not a lot, but it saves money over time. And it forces me to save money. That's why I do think it's very important. Unless if you are very good with money, then I think you can rent and buy, like stocks to make more money as well. But I don't think a lot of people are as good saver. And not a lot of people are good at paying rent, and whatever the difference of not paying ownership of home, invest money, buy stocks, and do something good with the money. I'm not like that. And not everybody's like that, but many people are like that. So in a way, I think having a home forces you to save money, and it's a great tool. So it builds up equity for you. And of course, having a home also means that you have stability of your ownership. So nobody tells you what to do other than condominium. Or if you have your home as a freehold, then nobody tells you anything other than your neighbors. And you can ignore those. But condominium is a different story. So listen to your condominium rules. And overall freedom to whatever you want to do with your unit. Let's say you want to repaint, you want to change the cosmetics of your home. You can do it without anybody's interference. So it's great in that sense. And obviously, if you're able to rent and pay rent and save money to do other things like investing, then I think it's a better way than buying a home. It doesn't make sense because if you're paying rent for like $2,000, but if you're investing $2,000 into stocks or anything like that, over time stocks do make more money. Also, there's a chance that it becomes electronic garbage as well, but I should say like that. But yeah, companies can crash and companies can go, bankrupt, and then your stock's now worthless. There's that aspect. But at least if you buy a home, it never goes to waste. It's somewhere that you can always lean on and sleep in and actually call that as a pride of your ownership. And I think there's a big difference in that way. Not everybody is going to agree, but that's just how I feel. Anyways, I think that's the most of the home buyers incentives that I want to catch. Reach out. I'm more than happy to help you. Anyways, have a good day. Bye.